Hey guys, Jacob here. This is another 1.8.3 build video for The Division. This is going to be going over my 10k Alpha Bridge build I decided to make a few days ago, mostly because a few of my friends said this build is a lot of fun, so I said screw it, and I flipped a few pieces around in my build, and here we are. As you guys can see, this build is very self-explanatory. 10,000 firearms, 2,000 stamina, 2,000 electronics. The weapons I'm running are the House and the MP7. I'll get right into it so you guys can see. The MP7 and the House are the two main weapons I use. Most of the House, since it is the primary. The House has a pro dot sight with crit damage, headshot damage, crit chance. The extended mag has crit hit chance, rate of fire, and magazine size. The small grip has crit damage, stability, and optimal range. The loud vent brake has crit damage, crit chance, and headshot damage. You could use something like the tyrant suppressor if you really want to, but personally I think it's very unnecessary on this build. But if you want to flip a few pieces around to make up for crit chance and you don't want to use vicious or something like competent, you could just use the suppressor. I guess if you want more crit chance, then I guess you'd be good. Now the MP7, 25.3 base damage, deadly, vicious, responsive, and it has a C79 scope with crit damage, crit chance, and optimal range. Extended mag with crit damage, rate of fire, and magazine size. Small grip with crit damage, stability, and optimal range. Loud vent brake with crit damage, crit chance, and headshot damage. I would say the MP7 is the best secondary out of all the MP7s if you're using the House. That way, if someone's almost dead and you could switch to this and you have that really high RPM and you just shred someone with it insanely fast and they'll be dead and you'll be good. You could use something like the MP5 ST, but I prefer the MP7 due to the RPM. As you guys can see, the reason why I chose the primary House, A, it's the best SMG in the game, and it has card counter, which gives you the 20% increased damage, and as is, it has a damage of 30.9 base. That's without booster or card counter proc, so I'll show you guys what the actual damage is when I hit the booster a little bit later on, but that's it for now. Now I'll get into the sawed-off shotgun, self-preserved, predatory, and determined. The sawed-off shotgun is pretty important if you're smacking people on the ground constantly. That way you get predatory and determined proc, that way you get your super back, and you get predatory with the increased regeneration of 35% health over 20 seconds. Now the gear pieces I'm using, which is the Reckless Vest. It has health, firearms, exotic aim resilience, increased kill XP. You want ammo capacity if you can get it, but I guess I'm just not that lucky. The mods on this are a firearms crit chance mod, and well, two firearms crit chance mods, my bad. One thing I'm going to tell you guys now about Reckless: if you're running this, you will get shredded instantly if you're not running with a healer, or if you're insanely lucky and have really good movement. I guess you could kill some people with this build, but lately, since I've been using this DZ, people tend to focus me with Predator, and people with Nomad also are a bit of a problem. And that's it for the Reckless Vest. The mask is rolled for crit chance, firearms to damage to elites, and has a firearms crit chance mod. Knee pads are rolled for crit damage, damage to elites, discern resistance, shock, and firearms. So you want bleed, shock, and burn, but I guess I'm just not that lucky. But those are the three minors you want to get if you can get them. The mod on this is a firearms crit chance mod with a pulse crit hit damage. The backpack has a crit hit damage roll, firearms, bleed resistance. You really want ammo capacity, like I said, but what I'll try to do is end up rolling a new Reckless Vest since I have the blueprint just to get ammo capacity on it, then you should be good. The mod on this is a firearms health mod and 2 pulse crit damage. You're probably wondering why everything else is a crit chance and this one's a firearms. That's because the crit chance is maxed at 60, so if you threw another mod on here, you'd just be wasting it, and you're better off throwing an EDR or a health mod instead. Just give you a little bit more protection from bleed or just health in general. The gloves roll for SMG, crit chance, crit damage, firearms. The holsters roll for crit chance and all stats. Now I'm going to go over the Alpha Bridge so you guys know. As you guys can see, you do get 3 talents under main gun, and you get a 4th extra talent. It actually used to be 6 back in the day, but they changed that, so now you get 4 talents, and you get an extra talent, which is just +1 instead of +3. So that's what you get now. Also go over it in the pieces so you guys can see. The set bonus 2 is health regen. That's only out of cover, sadly. The set bonus 3 is 5% weapon damage. And set bonus 4 is if your primary and secondary weapon is of the same category, they share the same free talent. All talent requirements are ignored for all weapon talents. So you can literally throw any weapon talent on this gear set, on any gun, and unlock them, which is very awesome. So that way if you have something that you can never really use, like for example you have a competent deadly House, and you're like, oh, I can't use competent because I don't have that high electronics, you could use it on something like Alpha Bridge, so you automatically unlock it. The set bonus 5 is 25% health regen, and 10% is weapon damage by 10%. That way you're hitting a little bit harder. Now the set bonus. Set bonus 6 is pretty cool, but personally, if you're in a group, it's very unnecessary. You don't really need it, and you're not going to be able to use any signature skills, which sucks. When you kill an NPC, though, the signature skills flip around over and over and over again, so you're constantly getting different signature skills per kill on player or NPCs that are veteran or elite players, and they're activated for 10 seconds, which is really cool, but personally, I don't see a point running this if you're in a group. If you're by yourself, I guess you could run it if you really want to try it out, but I'm just running the 5-piece currently, and that's what the set bonus 6 is. Now I'll go over the abilities. So as you can see, I'm running the Pulse, Crit Damage, and Crit Chance Scrambler. This blocks people's crits, also hides you from players, so they can't see you if you're trying to hide or sneaking around somewhere or just sneaking up on an extraction, and you can hit this and people can't see you. I'm using Crit Damage instead of Crit Chance, since your Crit Chance is already maxed with SMGs if you're running really high Crit Chance like mine is. And I just decided to throw Crit Damage since I can hit a little bit harder with the Crit Damage mods instead of the Crit Chance. Booster Shot for extra damage. If you're dealing with Pred, I'd recommend running the Immunizer. That way it protects you from Pred a little bit more. Also, I'm using the Recovery Link. This doesn't really matter, it just depends on who's running what in your group. If someone's running 2 Recovs, you could switch to a blue instead or attack, but that's just currently what I have it on. The talents, I'm using Adrenaline for Pred Bleed, and if you get hit with Pred Bleed with this build, you're going to get hurt really damn bad. You have literally about half a second to hit your medkit before you get shredded by it. Just critical save. Use a medkit during low health to increase damage resistance by 20% for 10 seconds, which is really important with this build since it's so squishy. Combat Medic, when you're near a teammate, you can heal them, which I've used this a lot. I recommend this is on every build. If you're using Striker, Nomad, Defense, Final Measure, Lone Star, anything you're using, I recommend using Combat Medic. Strike Back, reach low health to reduce active skill cooldowns by 20%. So if you're almost dead and you hit your booster, you might be able to get lucky and just hit someone right in the face with all this damage and just kill them before they kill you. That's mostly why I have that on there. You could use, there's some other talents on here, like I recommend using Precision as well. But it's pretty hard to hit headshots on consoles, so that's why I'm using a few others instead of Precision. But if you're using ARs with this, I'd recommend using Precision. That way you can hit them in the head and pulse them for 10 seconds. That's really about it for the talents. I'll get right into the character sheet so you guys can see. 60% crit chance and 130 damage on the house, 62% headshot damage, and I'll get into the survivability. As you can see, 291,000 toughness. That's extremely low. That's like 1.6 low. I haven't ran stamina that low in a very long time. 215,000 max health. I highly recommend, like I said, running this build in a healer group if someone has Reclaimer or a Tactician box at least. That way I can give you a little bit of heal, and that way you're not constantly getting killed. The health regeneration, 24,000 when you're out of combat for the health regen bonus. It doesn't work while you're in combat, which kind of sucks, but I could see every reason why they didn't do that. But it'd be cool if it worked at least a little bit. That way you get some health while you're in combat and you're not constantly having to fight and get shredded by people who have Pred and shit. One more thing I'm going to note about this is if you run this in a group, you could use Vigorous. As you guys probably seen, I'm not sure if I used that gameplay or not. I think I did. I'm not sure, but if I didn't, then you guys can use Vigorous in a group if someone has a box. And you guys see these are the rolls on Vigorous I'd recommend using if you have one. The firearms does go down a little bit, and the toughness goes up a tiny bit. But if you're in a group and you have your overheal, it's a lot harder to kill you if you're in skirmish or the DZ. So if you really want to lose the damage, then I recommend using Vigorous if you want to lose damage. But if you want to live longer, then yeah, use Vigorous. But that's just my opinion on that. There's nothing really else to talk about in the build, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, I'll catch you guys in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay. I will link at the end of the video so you guys can see this build in action.